Hi, and welcome back to the Plant-Based Quick Cooking Show. I'm Karen, and you know every week I come to you from the Center for Plant-Based Living here in St. Louis, Missouri. I do hope that you'll stop in sometime if you're in the area. If you're not, you can beam us up online now. We have virtual classes and all kinds of virtual classes, and we even have a plant-based immersion coming up. Our 1-year anniversary is on its way, and we have Dr. Jim Loomis coming to town, and we're going to give you a plant-based 101 immersion all day long on August 15th. That is in the link below. Okay, now every week when we do a recipe, we always have either 7 ingredients or less. Well, we have both 7 ingredients or less, and it's always inside of 30 minutes. And this is no exception again this week. And this is just a really sweet, nice recipe. It can look a little fancy if you're not messy, and I'm hoping that my tomatoes all behave this week. But it looks nice, it looks pretty, and it's just very clean, and it's just a nice little dessert, actually probably appetizer, and not too much going on here. So it's a mini caprese salad, really. Instead of mozzarella, we're using tofu. And even though tomatoes are starting to pop outside, I do not have any growing quite yet, so I went to the store and bought these tri-colored, which only enhances the recipe because it's so pretty. And we're also going to use a little bit of, what is this, balsamic reduction, and I've reduced this here at the shop. If you go back to the video where we are making roasted balsamic onions, we go over how you can easily make your own balsamic reduction. Okay, so let's get started. I have a little bit of tofu in here, and this is ultra firm tofu, so get the most firm tofu you possibly can. And you can use a tofu press if you want, or you can use a clean kitchen towel, whatever you want, and just kind of lightly get that moisture out of there. Doesn't need to be, you don't need to use a press, and you don't need to squeeze it for very long. Just the really firm tofus don't have that much water in them, so you won't get a whole lot of moisture out of them. Okay, set that aside. And these, really, it's up to you. If you want to make little steaks, if you want to cut them in little shapes, I'm just going to use probably this square shape and just cut it straight through. And I'm going to cut, I guess, a half of an inch, half of an inch, half of an inch. And we'll just shave that one down a little bit. Okay. And so that's, and if you think that's too big, you could certainly just cut it either in half, or I think maybe on the diagonal would be nice. It's just a little different shape to look at. So you could just do that. So it looks like mozzarella. We know it doesn't taste like mozzarella. But here's the thing, tofu doesn't really taste like anything. So whatever flavors are marinated in it, tossed on top of or poured on top of, that's the flavor that it takes on. So we'll just go ahead, put those off to the side, and get a serving platter. Put that down here, that over there. You can see that. Now there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can go ahead and just stack these alternately. So you would do a piece of tofu, some basil, tomato. Tofu, basil, tomato. And you can do a circle, you can do rows. But now that we're social distancing, it's nice to kind of have food that is just ready to go in, grab, and get out of there, right? So if you're having a gathering, you still don't want people all gathered around a table if they don't have to be. So that's why we're gonna just skewer these little suckers up, just using toothpicks. So I have the tofu, a couple little things of tofu there, tofu. Maybe we'll do a few more. Again on the diagonal. Okay, and A couple more. All right. Now what I'm going to do here is basil. Now this grows like a weed, right? So go outside if you're growing your basil this year, or grab it from your neighbor's house. And just, you can roll it up if you want. You can fold it if you want. I like to take that little stem off of there. And you know what? I just lay the leaf right on top. Just right there on top. Nothing fancy about it. It's these colors that are going to pop. If you want to get fancy in whatever way you choose, that's fine. I also have a little bit of purple basil, which is nice. A little bit stronger flavor. So you can use that. Whatever basil you have. Oh, look, it's nice purple on the back. It's so pretty. Oh, my hands are going to smell like basil. I love it. Look at this thing. Ah, large and in charge. That's a big guy. Okay. Now we've got our basil on all of our little bites of tofu. Now, just take your little tomatoes and slice them lengthwise. Just do a few of these. Get every color in there. I'll do another orange. And just cut side down. Lay them on top of your basil. Red down here. Red in the middle. Oh, isn't that so pretty? So pretty. Now grab your toothpicks and just roll fast. Just like that. Now, they're ready to be picked up, but they're not finished. Take your reduction, and this is not too thick, so it's not really, you know, like you feel it back here. It's just lightly reduced, so you would be able to see it on the back of a spoon. But it's still pretty translucent, so it's not super concentrated. That's the word I was looking for. And you could either just spoon this right over it, drizzle right over it, but I'm just going to take it straight out of the jar. And this keeps in the refrigerator for, gosh, months. And just do a light drizzle. It'll get all over on the plate, and that's fine. And that's it. So you just skewer up those 3 little ingredients and drizzle on some reduction and set it out for people. And it's just nice and light and a flavor bomb too, because tomatoes are in season, yum. Basil's in season, yum. That tofu, it's just there because it's pretty. And of course, your reduction is really just bam, it's great. All right, so this is a super easy recipe. Looks kind of fancy, but it's really not. All right, we will see you next week, and we'll talk a little bit more about that Plant-Based 101 immersion that we're doing pretty soon with Dr. Loomis. All right, until then, take good care, and I'll see you next week.